the doctor from 30 Rock, like
Dr. Spaceman.
we don't even really know what science is,
Yeah.
stuff
I love
like
30
that.
Rock. I haven't rewatched that show, but I loved it so much.
I know. Spaceman. It
Yeah.
is Dr. Spaceman, isn't it?
Yeah. Because Tracy Morgan's like, Dr. Spaceman's my doctor. Dr. Spaceman's my doctor. Yeah.
So
I love
good.
Tracy Morgan. I love Tracy Morgan. I mean, that whole cast. This is a stacked cast in 30 Rock.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What a great show. I think that's the show I probably have watched through the most.
Oh, yeah.
My wife and I, when we're like,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
watch a new show, and we're like,
Or
nah, let's just do 30 Rock
Yeah.
again, and it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of my favorites, the what a week, huh, Jack? Lemon. It's Wednesday. Sorry.
Tina Fey and Alec Baldwin, the chemistry they have is just like off the charts. It's so funny.
Cool. Yeah. I miss that. Maybe I'll just watch it all over again. Welcome to This Endorian Life, a Star Wars podcast from the Radio Meanwhile Network. My name is Steve Rudd.
I'm Nick Gunning, and we've been following the Ewoks throughout their storied history, but this time our journey through Star Wars vintage brings us to Droids, the animated series.
Don't you just have Sting's theme song bouncing through your head?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, except it's not Sting. It's like Sting's friend, right? It's
is it really?
I don't think it's Sting. I think it's like the other guy from the police.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I think
don't
so.
really. I wouldn't know any better. It just sounds like them.
It's a policey sound. We can agree on
Policey sound. Okay, not a Sting sound. It's a police
Yeah.
sound. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, there we go. So today we're discussing Droids Season 1, Episode 9, Coby and the Starhunters. This episode originally aired on November 2nd, 1985. We boys. This is a standalone episode.
I know.
Well, sort of.
The first. Yeah, I mean, there's like character crossover, but you could watch this one. You could watch this one totally cold and be fine.
I'm curious as to why they did that.
Me too. Yeah. Directed by Raymond J. Felice, written by Peter Sauter and Joe Johnson. This is the only episode never released on physical media, so not on DVD, not on VHS.
Oh, no way.
So probably because it is such a standalone. And I have a thought about that. I have a thought about that, and here's my thought on that right now. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Give it to me.
This is based on nothing. I feel like this episode was written as a crossover with Ewoks because they land on this forest planet. You have these guys come, and they're like, those little bird creatures to me.
Bosoms
Ewoks.
or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like you make those Ewoks, you make this Endor, you got a great crossover episode. That's what I think. I couldn't stop thinking that the whole time. They even
sounded, the language they spoke, the fake language, sounded like Ewokese, man. It was straight up. They might as well just have been Ewoks.
Yeah.
And they probably should have.
The old man, Geege or whatever his name is, looks just like the guy in Return of the Jedi, who now people are like, oh, that's Captain Rex, with like the beard and the hat.
Yeah.
He's even got the hat. It's the same hat.
It's true.
I really feel like this was written to be a crossover.
The most famous non-character to ever exist.
That's for sure. But I really do you know what I mean? Doesn't it seem like that's possible?
It totally does, yeah.
Because they're even on this forest planet, and like when they're walking on the bridges and everything up there, it's like this could easily have been the Ewok village. I feel like they were thinking that and pivoted. That's going to take us right into our featured cast member. And this only adds credence to my theory, okay? Because the episode was co-written by Joe Johnson. Prior to his work on this episode, he served as the visual effects artist and visual effects director for the Star Wars trilogy, as well as a production designer for the Ewok TV movies, Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor. And if that wasn't enough, he wrote the original kids' book, The Adventures of Teebo, A Tale of Magic and Suspense. So that's a lot of Ewok in his background. But it gets better. Joe Johnson, after his work on the series, would go on to serve as director of films like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, The Rocketeer, Jumanji, Jurassic Park 3, and Captain America: First Avenger.
You're saying he directed The Rocketeer?
He did direct The Rocketeer, yeah.
That is... okay, I got to be honest. That is I think the first movie I remember seeing in the
Yeah.
theater, I think that movie came out in 91 to 93, one of those.
I feel like I have not seen The Rocketeer since the 90s, but I remember it beat for beat in my head.
It was one of my childhood favorites. I mean, there was Star Wars, obviously, but it was that and Rocketeer.
Yeah.
And
It's
I could
again,
not get enough of the Rocketeer when I was a kid, man.
great cast, like Billy
Yes.
Campbell, Jennifer Connelly, Timothy
Timothy
Dalton.
Dalton.
The bit with the bubble gum on the rocket pack is so brilliant.
I
will never forget that. I'll never forget that.
When I want to get rid of bubblegum, I always think of that. Like,
Yep.
Is there a fuel tank I can seal off?
That I can put this on.
Like,
Disney has a 1-season Rocketeer show that I feel like nobody even knew about. But
what?
Yes.
Really?
Well, it's animated. It's more recent, and it's like his granddaughter or something finds the rocket pack and stuff. But Billy Campbell,
Cliff's granddaughter,
is in it as the Rocketeer. Like the same
no way.
actor. Yeah, it's like 1 season, but my son really liked it.
No, I gotta find that because I love the Rocketeer. Man, that like
Disney
the
Plus.
music and everything. Like we watch movies on the back of the house, and that's one of the movies that I keep trying to get us to watch. And I'm like, it's okay for the kids. Like I saw it when I was really young. Like yeah, Timothy Dalton's scary, but it's like there is that one like henchman that's pretty scary.
Yeah,
but I mean that's why like I remember it was very difficult for me to accept Timothy Dalton as James Bond when I eventually saw it because I was like, no, he is evil.
Yeah, I know.
I cannot accept him as the good guy. And so, yeah, like what an icon. I mean, that's so iconic from my childhood, man. That's great.
Yeah.
That's amazing that he went on to direct The Rocketeer and Jumanji. It's like,
I know.
Dude, like what a great flick.
Captain America: First Avenger. I mean,
First Avenger's the first one. That one's so good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So many great things. So he's our featured cast member, but I did want to mention Jamie Dick, who voices Coby, the title character. He appeared in episodes of today's special, Cagney and Lacey, and 3 episodes of the Edison Twins. So we have him here as well, too. I've got lots of thoughts on this episode, but I feel like I'm going to start spoiling Chihuahuas and stuff. So should we just dive in?
Let's dive in.
Okay.
The uber detailed plot of Droids, Season 1, Episode 9, Coby and the Starhunters. Hopefully I'll say Coby and not Cody.
We'll see.
Okay. We open to Lord Toda seeing his brat of a son, Prince Coby, off to the Imperial Academy, of which he hopes will straighten him out. Jan Tosh is sad he hasn't gotten a response from the Academy himself, yet assures Lord Toda he and the droids will get his son there safely. Before they embark, R2 saves Coby from making an impulse purchase with the riches he's inherited from his great uncle, Manjalpa.
One more time with Manjalpa.
Yep, yeah, they had to get him in there.
Yep.
They make a stop in Zalakesh, a known criminally infested planet. Jan Tosh checks on their connecting flight while Coby and his pet Inji explore some local attractions with the droids. When his attention is diverted, a group of Starhunters kidnap Inji, an incredibly rare and valuable tessellated arboreal bingephant.
Of course.
Yes. Kudos to whoever thought of that. They just didn't stop at tessellated arboreal.
Keep you rolling.
Yeah. Their ship takes off with Coby still hanging on. Fortunately, when he falls, he lands safely on the ground. Kind of like a pinball machine, though. Coby quickly purchases a ship he had his eye on earlier. Before the thieves jump to light speed, they latch on with their magnetic landing gear. They end up somewhere in the Danilo system, possibly. They detach, but safely crash land because they ran out of fuel. R2 quickly starts an SOS just before they are confronted by the local tribe of Fuzzum, who think they are Starhunters, the very ones they followed here. Fortunately, 3PO can communicate with them. The Fuzzum are amazed that Coby would go all this way to save his pet, so they decide to aid them. They lead them to the Starhunters' base. Coby, despite being strong-willed, begs for help from 3PO, and they devise a rescue plan. Coby also quickly learns humility and trust by having to depend on the Fuzzums. 3PO distracts the hunters with a wild Jugadoo call while Coby and R2 sneak to the cages. There, they find a human named Greege along with Inji. Meanwhile, a real Jugadoo finds 3PO in the forest, and the Hunter's plans of capturing it are foiled in the chaos. Back at the cages, the Starhunter droids discover the escapees. The Fuzzums swoop in and help stave off the droids. Coby himself uses a laser to help rescue Greege. In the chaos, R2 is damaged, but Greege thinks he can fix him. Hearing the Jugadoo calls and chaos in the forest, they go lend their help. Before they can help, 3PO wildly runs out distraught that his Fuzzum friends failed to mention the woods were teeming with Jugadoos attracted to him. Miraculously, 3PO managed to ensnare all the hunters somehow, right? So he's by mistake. When Greege accidentally lets go of his laser, it's caught by the Star Hunter leader. Before he can do any damage, Jan, who arrives just in time, blasts the weapon away from the hunter and directs them into their own cages. Excited by his experiences, Coby fills Jan in on everything that happened. The local Fuzzums celebrate the victory. We find out Greege was in charge of the creature sanctuary before the gangsters turned it into a poaching operation. Coby is sympathetic and offers to fund Greege in his rescue endeavors, especially after he fixes R2. Jan announces to everyone that he has been finally accepted into the Imperial Academy. What, like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah.
3PO expresses to Jan that it's been an honor to serve him, and Jan reminds them they are actually friends. With no master, R2 wonders, where will the three of them go? 3 of us! Exclaims 3PO seconds before his new Jugadoo friend runs up to give him another big squeeze. Roll credits.
Well, our last Pirates and the Prince thing, we felt a little bit more positive about, and I feel like this is 2 episodes in a row where I've got a pretty good impression overall. How did you feel about this?
I agree, and it's funny, in the middle of it, I was just like, I kind of like this episode.
I know.
I don't know why, and there's just really nothing to hate. It was just silly and fun, and it felt like all the best parts of Ewoks mixed with best parts of droids,
Honestly, to me, this episode should have been the blueprint for all of the episodes.
Yeah.
Because remember, when we were talking early on, like brainstorming, like what could make this better, one of the things we were saying was like, what if there was just some kid and they were partnered with some kid and they were kind of like the caretaker, and that's what this was.
It made sense with the kid. Yeah,
it did. It did. And you still had like Jan kind of in the background and everything. So, I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but I was still disappointed when Jan was like, all right, I'm done now. Because I just think, why? Why have Jan be done? Like, let him be kind of showing up in the background and thing, and let him be kind of attached to the droids still, and just have the droids be the caretaker of this kid from now on. And I feel like you got a good show.
Yeah. I thought the episode was just was fun. And then, of course, the Fuzzums, that should have been Ewoks. We know that,
No question.
I'll have to go back to Joe Johnson and be like,
let him know.
Should have pushed harder for that, man.
You finally
Give us
made
a call.
good, but
let us know that was what you planned.
Last time we were talking a little bit about how so many things, we were seeing a lot of comparisons to the prequels and obviously the sequels with Kylo Ren and all that. I thought the little dude who was selling the droids in the very beginning looked exactly like Watu from Phantom Menace. Yeah. He's like a tiny little guy with like the elephant snout. He doesn't have wings, but like other than that, he looks just like Watu. So I wondered if that was similar because he's selling droids. Like he's,
Yeah, there were other aliens in this that we have seen before.
This episode was a lot more populated, like backgrounds and stuff when they were at the spaceport or whatever. Like you saw a lot of different things.
Very well populated. I think very well populated. There wasn't like, oh, what was with that design? Like sometimes we just get a little shock of like, why did they choose to? Because you get stuff like Monjolpa, who's very basic. He's basically like an outline in purple, and then all of a sudden he meets up with some other alien who's very, very complex and just kind of doesn't fit, with what's going on. But
I know
I thought they did really, really well with this episode, with the aliens. That's always something that we talk about.
There was one animation error that I thought was kind of funny. In the end, when R2 is like broken and they're trying to fix him and everything, there's a couple of frames where they don't color in Coby's eyes and they're just white and it's like very stark. And then in the next
I must have missed
shot, the next shot they go back to it. gotta say, I didn't like that Jan gets accepted into the academy, and he's like, "So, I guess I'll just leave you two on this planet." You know, he's like, "We're friends now. Okay, bye. Like, stay on this hostile world by yourself."
Like, how long have they been missing?
I know.
Like, maybe an hour, two.
Yeah.
He's like, so not only has he, tried to find their transport, came back and is like, "Hey guys, I got our connecting flight, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, where are you?"
Yeah.
But then he gets on a ship, follows them, gets there just in time, and it like all of a sudden has all this news like, "Yeah, well, I made the Imperial Academy, so
he chases
later,
them all down just to be like, "So long,"
just to tell him.
Yeah.
He chases them down
Very
just to tell him
intimate
goodbye.
hug he gives C-3PO as well.
Oh, he does?
So,
Oh,
yeah, it's
I guess
tender.
so,
It is
yeah.
tender.
It's very
It's very tender. Very tender.
Every time something bad happens to 3PO, now that you said, like, "Is this where he gets his leg?"
yeah.
I always think, "Oh, this is gonna be it,"
Yeah.
and then it doesn't happen, and I'm like, "No."
It was kind of funny where his neck got out of whack and he was all talking high, and like I thought that was kind of funny.
You think Anthony Daniels was actually doing that, and he
Probably.
just probably had so much fun, like,
Probably. Yeah.
your neck is stretched.
Yeah. Okay,
So
well, let's stick with the good. What was your Ichiwawa moment?
Man, okay, so remember back that we've always talked about. I feel like a major theme that we've had problems with is the weird slapsticky stuff with the droids, where we're just like, oh, come on, like it's so like you remember the whole twerking episode where it was just like there's got to be something that 3PO does that's silly.
Yeah.
And normally I'm just like, and I don't know if just because I'm old and maybe a kid will think it's hilarious.
You are old, yeah.
But yeah, well, you're older.
True. Well, a handful of months.
But this episode where I could not help but laugh at the fact that the Fuzzums had 3PO do the Jugadoo call.
Yeah.
It was like, to me, I was like, when the Jugadoo came out of nowhere, I was like, oh, it was probably a mating call.
Yeah. Isn't that so Ewok-y though? Everything with that guy was so Ewok-y. That I'm convinced.
Yeah. Dude, that killed me when it was just like, oh no, and like, and then it was like, and the Jugadoo like was in love with him, and that was like so great. Like that to me, that was like that was good writing rather than just being like R2 falling all over the place, and like the neck thing was kind of funny, and I thought, oh, I wonder how far they're gonna go with this, if it's like gonna keep.
Yeah, but they didn't.
That lasted just as long as it needed.
Exactly, it didn't overstay its welcome. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And so, like for me, that was like, I freaking loved that. That got me a good chortle.
Yeah.
While I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, it's a mating call.
It was funny.
Those Fuzzums, got him. What about you?
Mine's kind of along the same lines, but I guess it's just a little broader. I think if this show was pitched to me, this is the kind of show that I would want. The droids are stuck with this kid, and they're kind of like hijink adventure, like every episode. I think that's a perfect setup, and I had to like applaud it for that, because I feel like, especially coming out of the two big arcs and everything, like this just feel like it hit all the marks that I've been wanting it to hit the whole time. So it's sort of like an Ichiwawa concept versus moment. But I just think the format of this episode was right. And so far, like if somebody was like, which droid episode should I watch? It would be this.
Yeah, this one, I feel like I'm on that same wavelength as you. For me, it worked because they were paired with a kid.
Yeah.
And so C-3PO and R2-D2 felt more integral in it.
They did.
It felt more needed.
Yeah.
Where like when it was the adults, it was just like, R2 was just used as a tool constantly. Where this, it was like R2 was part of it, and it even got broken.
Yeah.
And so it was like it became more real, and it was just like the kid was like, "Oh no," because he didn't know what to do.
Right.
I think it worked. I think that the kid worked because they're on a level playing field with the droids.
Yeah.
As far as like ingenuity and like. 3PO was kind of like, well, let's do this. And
I think you hit it just right.
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
The fact that the droids were like actually needed, and not just like, why are they wasting time with this fussy droid? Doesn't make any sense, but it did here. So yeah.
And 3PO was a protocol droid, right? He was correcting, he was teaching.
Yeah.
He'd be like what a protocol droid would do,
Yeah.
would be, to teach people how to act and be courteous and this and that. And he is the prince,
Yeah.
right? He's Lord Toda's son.
Yeah.
That he's like, oh no, you are going to be a person that's going to need to rely on his subjects, right? There was like, I mean, there's that moral lesson. There was a little tiny moral lesson in here, and that's what changed Coby into being like, you're right.
Yeah.
I need to trust them that this is going to work out.
Stuff.
And he changes.
Yep.
He changes. So yeah, like overall we're good. What about bad? What was your Oak of Arc? Something you just
I just couldn't get over the fact that it wasn't a crossover. That they didn't use the Ewoks here, because I feel like it's all right there. It would have been so easy. And it's weird that these two shows, which aired together, like as a package show, the Droid Ewoks Adventure Hour, the fact that they never, until the comics, did any kind of crossover, I think is crazy. And I just really feel like this would have been the perfect time for it, because we're kind of right in the middle of the seasons. It would have been a great time to have a crossover. And I think everything is there. You even have an Ewok stand-in with the Fuzzums. So I couldn't divorce myself of that thought. I was just like, oh, this is what's missing. So, and maybe that's a cheat, but I do feel like,
Yeah, I can just imagine him saying, all right, and this is where the Ewoks come in, and they're like, whoa. No. That's their own show.
Yeah.
This is Droids.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, guys, this is going to be great. Trust me. Like before, I mean, this is what, 85?
Yeah.
We didn't see a whole lot of like crossover stuff at that point. I mean, was there like Transformers and
I think probably
He-Man
I was going to say
He-Man
She-Ra probably is.
He-Man She-Ra.
That's more,
okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But
so
I can imagine.
For me. I couldn't get over it. What about you?
For me, it was the Starhunters. I felt that they're like, I don't know. I think it would have done better if it was just one guy. I couldn't tell who was in charge really.
That's true.
And they just didn't. They called them Starhunters, and when I was writing it, I was like, "They're Starhunters."
Yeah,
that's what they chose for these guys. Like, so I don't know. Like that, I don't know. That kind of kept coming back and bugging me. And the one dude reminded me of the one guy from Futurama.
Zap Brannigan.
That's it. Yeah.
Leela.
But Zap Brannigan. Leela. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I could not get that out of my head. Sense. That picture.
I sort of appreciated about it that it was like just sort of like a group of. It wasn't just like some nondescript alien race like we had with like Manjalpa's people. I like that it was like this scattering, sort of like almost bounty hunter-esque. But they did sort of feel like bumbling bureaucrats. Calling this episode Coby and the Starhunters, and having the Starhunters be the villains and having them be just like junk salesmen. The Starhunters.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, you expect it to be cool, and it's not. So that's fair.
We did see another dual cockpit A-wing.
You're right.
Though,
we did.
In a couple flybys, and there was one sitting in the hangar bay.
Yeah.
When Coby was looking at all the little shiny
Love me
ships.
Some sweet A-wing action. So
especially the dual cockpit. I think that's cool.
I agree.
That's fun. It reminds me of the speeders on Hoth. That they're dual cockpit.
Yeah.
Such a weird design. Very specific design.
How many yub nubs do you give this?
Man, this one was really hard thinking about how much I yub nub it, because like it felt good and I really liked it. I don't know. I feel like I have to give it pretty high marks, because it was just all around. I really enjoyed it. I feel like a 4.5, 4.5.
Okay.
Like a 4, maybe 4.25.
Yeah.
A pretty hearty 4.25.
Yeah.
Just because like I really liked it. It wasn't very complex. It was very linear to me.
It was kind of clever
come
that what they were interested in was the pet. That the pet was this like
that's true
rare thing. So I thought that rather than just like let's kidnap the prince, it was like they just wanted the pet.
Well, that's a good point.
And I think that's kind of clever. Like I thought there was a little bit of depth in that sense.
It was a weird flex that he was going to the academy, though.
Yeah,
like, Jan Tosh is like, I can't get in there, and I was thinking like, if Coby's going, maybe you're too old, buddy.
Maybe
this is so funny.
It's
like
a children's program.
How young are they
You're
accepting?
28,
yeah, it's like,
Patrick Swayze.
The Vader Youth Program. Jeez, so bad.
Yeah.
They're like accepting children into the Imperial Academy. Like, holy crap, man. Stuff. Yeah.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you in the ballpark. I think the thing that really takes away from it is when we get to the end and Jantosh is like, all right, I'm going to abandon you in this planet. And now you got to find new masters and stuff. I will never understand their thinking of like, let's keep upsetting the status quo every time rather than just giving them something to do. I don't get that, but
they did keep the theme though of family, right? That's always been like every time that they have separated from people, it's like, like we've, 3PO is like, oh, it's been an honor serving you, like every single time, and they're always like, no, you're family, and that this one, same thing, you've been family, and it's
when we've seen how all these things end and none of these characters will ever be seen or referenced again, it's kind of silly to have Jan be like, we'll be friends forever. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye. I'm probably that stormtrooper that's shooting at you in the new.
That's Jan. He's the one who runs into the. He runs right into the ceiling.
He's the one who runs into the.
Yeah. Oh my. Jan talk. Well, I'm just happy to have 2 droids things in a row where we've got pretty good things to say about it overall.
I'm impressed.
So
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, next time it's back to Endor with Ewoks Comics number 6, The Ice Demon.
Yes. The Ice Demon.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's going to be as epic as the name is?
Or is it going to be a Starhunters situation where it's just a bunch of like
who knows,
middle-aged pot-bellied men? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that the Ice Demon.
I think they finally hit the mark with the Ice Demon.
Ice Demon is the one. Yeah.
Is it gonna be like isn't every animal the something demon? Oh
so.
no, it's the flying demon.
demon.
Oh no, it's the lava fire demon.
Grass demon. Yeah, I think you might be right. But I guess we'll find out.
I shouldn't mock.
We'll
I don't know. Yeah, we'll find out
next time on this.
It'll probably be my favorite one.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right. See you then.
Tune in next time. I'll see you then. This Endorian Life was brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. Other shows on the network include 90s Music Got Me Like, previously on X-Men, and 9021 Here We Go! Share your thoughts on this and upcoming episodes by following us on Facebook or X at Endorian Life, and please rate, subscribe, and share this show wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm listening!
I'm gonna go Google myself!
Eat you up!
That killed me.
You have the boldness of a much younger woman.